The sound of an empty magazine hitting the grit is the first thing you hear. It is a hollow plastic thud that signifies the end of your primary offensive capability. You are a long-range scout, currently separated from your element by over 30 miles of hostile urban terrain. Your squad was caught in a crossfire 3 blocks back, and you are the only one who made it into this structure. But survival is a relative term in the ruins. You pull your sidearm, a suppressed 9mm pistol, and eject the magazine into your palm. 3 brass casings glisten in the dying light. 3 rounds. That is the entirety of your lethality. Outside that door, the rhythmic crunch of boots on rubble tells you exactly what you're facing. 4 insurgents are leapfrogging toward your position. They aren't rushing. They are clearing corners, moving with the methodical patience of hunters who know their prey is cornered. In the brutal, unyielding arithmetic of infantry combat, the math is simple and devastating. You have 3 bullets. There are 4 targets. Even with a 100% shot accuracy, one of those men will remain standing. One of those men will have a fully loaded MP-44 and the clear line of sight to finish what his friend started. You have exactly 5 seconds before the first muzzle clears the doorframe. Your heart rate is at 160 beats per minute. Your fine motor skills are evaporating, and your life depends on a solution that doesn't exist in any field manual. What will you do? Before we commit to a course of action, we must analyze the board. This is not a cinema screen where the hero has infinite luck. This is a military dilemma, where physics and probability are your primary enemies. To understand the gravity of this 3-bullet problem, we have to look at the 3 layers of complication that define this engagement. Layer 1. The biological tax. Because you have been operating at a high tempo for 48 hours without sleep, your body is in a state of hyper-arousal. This is the fight-or-flight response. Your pupils have dilated, which is good for light intake but bad for focusing on your front sight post. Your blood has moved from your extremities to your core, meaning your fingers, the very things you need to pull a trigger with surgical precision, are becoming numb and clumsy. Every shot you take with that 9mm is a gamble. At this distance, a 9mm round requires a hit to the T-box, the area of the face from the eyes to the mouth, to ensure an instantaneous lights-out drop. If you hit them in the chest, the adrenaline in their systems might allow them to keep pulling their triggers for another 10 to 15 seconds. In a room this small, 15 seconds is an eternity. Layer 2. The obscure detail. The accelerant. Look closely at the second man in the stack. He isn't carrying a spare magazine or a radio. He's lugging a rusted, 5-gallon metal jerrycan. In urban insurgent tactics, this is a common denial-of-service tool. They don't want to clear this room. They want to bathe it in low-grade gasoline and light a match. That canister is a volatile variable. If a bullet strikes it, the result is unpredictable. Movies suggest a massive fireball, but ballistics tell a different story. A subsonic 9mm round might just punch 2 holes in the metal, causing a rapid leak of flammable liquid across the floor. Now, you aren't just fighting 4 men, you're fighting the clock before the room becomes a furnace. Layer 3. The ballistic constraint. You are using a suppressor. While it hides your muzzle flash, it also reduces the velocity of your rounds. You are firing subsonic ammunition to stay quiet. These rounds are heavy and slow. They don't fragment, they punch. If you try to shoot through a wall or a wooden door to hit the men outside, the round will likely deflect or lose so much energy it becomes non-lethal. You cannot rely on penetration. You have to rely on direct, unobstructed contact. Every bullet must be a masterpiece of timing. The clock is ticking. You have 3 paths, and each one carries a heavy price. Let's evaluate the tactical validity of your choices. Option A. The collateral gamble. This is the high-stakes play. You wait for the breach. You wait for the moment the first man enters, and the second man, the one with the fuel, is directly behind him. You ignore the first target and put all 3 of your rounds into that jerrycan. The logic here is that the hydraulic shock of the bullets hitting the liquid will cause the metal to burst, and a stray spark from a round hitting the canister's rim might ignite the vapors. The pros are obvious. A massive area of effect deterrent that kills or severely burns all 4 targets instantly. But the cons are terrifying. If the fuel doesn't ignite, you have just emptied your gun into a bucket of gas. You are now standing in a highly flammable puddle, completely unarmed, while 4 very angry men realize you just tried to blow them up. Option B. The 3-for-4 trade. This is the purist's approach. You rely on your training. You wait for the fatal funnel, the doorway to frame the targets. You fire 1 round into the head of the first man, 1 into the second, and 1 into the third. You move with a violent, explosive speed, hoping that the sight of 3 comrades dropping in less than 2 seconds will cause the 4th man to break and flee. This is the most reliable use of your ammunition, but it ignores the 4th man. In combat, The man you don't shoot is the one who kills you. If the fourth man is a veteran, he won't run. He will step over the bodies of his friends and empty a 30-round magazine into the corner where you're hiding. You are betting your life on his cowardice. Option C, the psychological bluff. You fire one round into the ceiling to disorient them with the sound of a suppressed crack echoing in the small space. Simultaneously, you throw your empty magazine toward the door, screaming a command in their native tongue to drop the weapons. You are attempting to simulate the presence of a larger, more organized force. The hope is that they perceive the clink of the magazine as a grenade pin or a flashbang. If they dive for cover, you use that 2-second window to vault out the window or find a more defensible position. The risk here is absolute. If they realize it's a bluff, if they see that plastic magazine bounce off the floor, the illusion is shattered. You have 2 bullets left, you're still in the room, and they now know exactly where you are and that you're desperate. In the world of elite special operations, when the math doesn't work, you change the math. You choose the hidden fourth option, the kinetic chain. You realize that your 3 bullets are not enough to kill 4 men, but they are more than enough to manipulate the environment. As the first insurgent's boot crosses the threshold, you don't aim at his T-box. You aim at the rusted support hook, holding 200 pounds of iron fixture above his head. Round 1. You squeeze. The subsonic round strikes the rusted link. The metal snaps with a screech. The chandelier doesn't just fall, it swings downward like a pendulum, slamming into the lead man and pinning him against the doorframe. He isn't dead, but he is a physical obstruction. The 3 men behind him are suddenly blocked by 200 pounds of iron and their screaming comrade. Round 2. The fatal funnel is now a chaotic mess of limbs and metal. You don't aim for the men's heads. You aim for the center of the jerrycan held by the second man. The bullet punches through. Because the man is stumbling from the chandelier's impact, the gasoline doesn't just leak, it sprays. It coats the lead man, the floor, and the doorway in a thick film of fuel. Round 3. This is the ignition. You don't fire at the men. You fire your final round into the stone floor, inches away from the pooling gasoline. The copper jacket of the bullet strikes the flint-heavy concrete at 800 feet per second. The friction generates a momentary flash of heat and a shower of white-hot sparks. The vapors catch instantly. A wall of orange flame erupts in the doorway. It creates a thermal barrier that the remaining insurgents cannot pass. They are forced to retreat into the hallway to avoid being burned alive. You have neutralized the threat without needing a bullet for every head. The solution worked, but the cost of survival is a new set of problems. You have successfully navigated the immediate dilemma, but you are now completely Winchester zero ammunition. The fire you just started is a massive thermal signature in the middle of a dark city. Every drone, every patrol, and every lookout within 5 miles now has a waypoint leading directly to your location. You have traded 3 bullets for 5 minutes of time. In the ruins of a city, time is the only currency that matters, but you are spending it fast. You disappear into the darkness of an alleyway, moving by touch and instinct, heading toward an extraction point that feels further away with every step. This is the reality of the military dilemma. There are no clean victories. There are only choices that allow you to keep breathing for 1 more minute, 1 more hour, or, if you're lucky, 1 more day. If you were in that room, would you have gambled on the environment, or would you have trusted your marksmanship to take the 3-for-4 trade? The math is always changing. Tell us your strategy in the comments. This has been Military Dilemma. Stay sharp, stay alive.